We're seeing a host of different drivers of really fundamental shifts in the way that we're living our lives. And some of those are nothing new. They've been around for ages, but their impact is constantly perpetuating. So starting from the left, we've got increased urbanization. So urbanization is not just a phenomenon that we're seeing in emerging markets. In the UK, we're seeing urbanization continuing to grow. So in 2015, about 83% of the population lived in cities. That's up from about 80% in 2005. London alone is forecast to grow by 50% by 2050, which is quite a scary thought. And as a result, we're seeing that our homes are getting smaller. So James was talking about the pressure on commercial space. Well, that pressure on space has been translated into our homes as well. So we're seeing that the new builds being built today are often smaller than ever before. But we're also seeing that our families are smaller. So fewer of us are getting married, or we're getting married later. We might be divorcing. We're having fewer children, or we're having them later. And we also have this kind of never-ending pressure on our time. Now, this kind of shortage of time is not a new thing. We don't have less time physically than we've had before. And in many ways, actually, the mobile phone, our constant connectivity, has enabled us to save time in many areas. But of course, we've got this paradox where on the one hand, it saves us time, but then we go and waste all of our time on social media. And I'm not speaking as someone who's really smug because he's overcome that. I'm a full-on participant in that. Upload a photo of my dog and just sit there, just refreshing, like, how many likes, how many likes, should be more likes. But that's a constant. And actually the borders between work and play are becoming less and less defined. And then we have these other drivers which are impacting us in a way that we've never seen before. So we're seeing this kind of unstoppable shift and growth towards greater health and sustainability consciousness. And that's all driven by and intrinsically linked by our relationship with technology, our connectedness. So we are more informed and we're better enabled than ever before to identify those products which are healthier for us, to understand the impact of different products on the environment, their carbon footprint on our health. But crucially, we can go and buy them. We can go and buy them anywhere we want to at any time. So retail used to be limited to a physical outlet. You went to a store, and where you went was kind of specified by where the store was and its opening hours, but that's long gone. So shoppers today are enabled, they're connected, and they're able to self-curate. And as a result, they're becoming more and more demanding. And as a result, as you'll all know, we're starting to change the way that we shop. So the big shop is not dying. It's not going to die. As James was saying, supermarkets and hypermarkets still make up the majority of market share, and they're going to in 5-10 years' time. But the amount that we rely on the big shop is falling away. We're focusing more on shopping little and often, and we're shopping for shorter-term meal solutions. So whether that be food for tonight, food for the next few days, or a meal for right now. And James was talking about the phenomenal growth that we're forecasting for food to go in the next 5 years. And we do this because it makes sense, right? It makes sense from a timing perspective. Few and few of us want to go and spend 2 hours traipsing around a store in the outskirts of town every Saturday. There's still lots of us who do it, but our inclination to do it is less. We'd rather go and spend 20 minutes popping into the store every couple of days. It also saves money, potentially, so actually reducing wastage. And also it enables us to self-curate, as I was talking about. So actually going and picking and buying those products that are most relevant to me on any given day, at any given part of the day, anywhere I want. So whether that be, I want a super healthy snack today, but tomorrow I'm going to really want to indulge. We can do all of those things. And it's enabled by shopping little and often and across multiple channels. Shoppers today have everything they need at their fingertips to exercise their right as individuals when they shop, to go and embrace their individuality, to go and say, I want this product from this store, I want this from this store, and my loyalty is everywhere. I'm not redirecting my loyalty to one specific retailer. Now that's quite frightening, but at the same time, this kind of digital footprint that shoppers are leaving behind is all that we need to re-establish those personal relationships. We have the data there, but that data is growing every year exponentially, and it's multi-dimensional, it's multifaceted. So for the average human being, or even the smartest human beings, it's pretty much impossible to process all of that data and pick out actionable insights. So we're going to have to start investing more and more into analytics, into data scientists who can pick apart that data and find those nuggets that we can then go out and start to have those personal conversations with. What shopper value is going to mean in 5, 10, 15 years' time really comes down to 3 separate points. You've got your brilliant basics, so things going into there is price, availability, range, those things that actually already today are a ticket to play, as opposed to a point where you can clearly differentiate yourselves. Actually, the point of differentiation will come increasingly through delivering convenient solutions and this idea of tailoring. So tailoring, I mean, basically the retail industry's ability to enable shoppers to personalize and to self-curate. And technology will sit alongside this. It will enable us to meet all of these shopper demands and to deliver that sense of value, just as it has done, for the 20-odd years that digital technology's been around in retail. So if you look back at the last 50 years of retail evolution, it's quite staggering how far we've come. From 1964, the first out of city, out of town hypermarket opening, through to 1997 launch of Tesco Direct, through to today where, in the last couple of months we've seen the longest delivery drone 12 kilometres, the longest drone delivery take place 12 kilometres. And in that time, the role of digital has been totally transformative. In just 20 years, we've gone to a market share of 6.5%. And James has already talked about the growth projections for that. And actually, there are reasons why maybe that growth should be higher. If we look beyond growth and market share, digital's impact has been all-encompassing. So if you start to look at the innovators over the last few years, you can see that a lot of the innovation is coming from these young, upstart, new launches, which are coming in and disrupting established business models. And the pace of change is accelerating all the time. And for established FMCG companies, change has been necessarily a bit more cautious. And it's been more cautious because so many of these companies have been built on a different way of working. And for them, change is not only costly, but it means uprooting and revolutionizing the entire business model. It's scary and it's incredibly risky, and it has to be done in the right way. So Unilever have been quoted about I've been speaking about this, and they talk about how they're trying to bring through more of a test, learn and improve mentality. But their challenge is that historically the way that they launch products is that you test everything until you're absolutely certain that it's right. And then you launch, and you launch it when you're confident that you can get a really big incremental gain from it. But we're constantly learning that actually that approach means that you're probably going to be too late. If you wait till you're 100% right, you're going to be 100% late. And take it from someone who knows absolutely nothing about surfing, it's just like surfing, if that makes any sense. If you sit and you wait for the perfect moment, you're going to miss all of the action. And the pressure to respond and to be agile and to be timely is growing all the time from these kind of agile, young, new businesses who adopt this test, fail, learn, improve mentality. Taking risks and failing has to be viewed as a necessary part of the innovation process. Of course, we have to find ways of doing this that isn't really costly to the business.